I finished 30 days of taking the Nesut Nectar as an eye drop, using it for other purposes as well. We'll get into that in a second. And so last night, KT put out a video on his Instagram with more information or instructions about using the eye drops. So definitely check that out. The instructions that you get as far as using the Nesut Nectar as an eye drop, it just says, you know, 1 drop per eye per day. But it doesn't say, you know, like how exactly to use it. So it turns out that I was not using the Nesut Nectar 100% correct. Go to his KT, the Arch Degree Instagram channel, and this video that I'm talking about, it was posted, oh, I saw it yesterday. So look for something posted around like January 25th or 24th of 2024. And he talks about, you know, putting the nectar in your eye, and then you are going to move your eyeball around, like coating with the nectar, and do that for like 15 minutes. I know for sure I've never held the nectar in my eye for that long before I started blinking. When I very first started using the nectar, you guys saw in my first video, the very first time I put the nectar in my eye, I was just like so shocked and going through it, and it I don't know if I did, you know, tip my head back and try to move my eyes around, but I think I was blinking, you know, pretty much immediately. Now as time went on, yes, I was able to keep the nectar in my eyes. I was focused on keeping it in longer, but even as I built my tolerance up for it, for the sting and everything, I know I never kept it in for the whole 15 minutes. Now, along the way, there was someone who commented on one of my videos. Whew. Still, this is the 29th night, and it still stings. Just the same as it did. Someone had commented and asked me about my eyes getting red. You can see that my eyes are red, slightly red. The tears really just fell. A tear just fell on my foot. That's how the tears really flow. And you know, it's funny because all of this time I've been watching videos of people using the Nesut Nectar. There was maybe about a week into a conference or something, and KT had gave people some Nesut Nectar drops. Some of the people who attended the conference, and people, they were so stoic and calm. I'm like, I feel like a big baby. How did y'all just sit there? I don't know. I'm like, did they edit that part out or what? Because they just sat there like no reaction. Like, are they just, you know, around people and trying to be tough? And that's it. It's just about done. You know, I put the honey in, experimented with methods of putting the honey in my eyes. From, you know, the first video I showed y'all, you know, pulling the eyelid, making like a little cup or a little lip, and then dropping the drop there. I've done with my head tilted back. That by far, I don't like that. It seemed like it hurt worse, and it was just more irritating to my eye that way. I've done, and what I did tonight is like dropping the honey to the corner of my eye, just kind of tilted my head and let the honey just run into my eye. Thank you. There was someone who mentioned using a warm compress. She commented that she had been on the honey about the same amount of time. So I don't know if you've done it for 30 days. Hey, how you doing? Hope everything is going well for you. She has suggested to me to do a warm compress, and that definitely can help. Someone else commented on another one of my videos about the Nesut Nectar, and he said his eyes were still red the next day. I definitely don't think that's normal. Anything that I've seen online from like So Ionic Botanicals channel, I don't think your eyes should still be red or stinging and burning the next day. Be careful too, you know, if you're still in pain the next day and your eyes are bright red and stuff like that, you know, you might need to look into something else or find out what's going on. Where some people I heard we just all trying to like working together and trying to figure things out and stuff like that. So I appreciate definitely that there's more guidance, and I really appreciate anybody that like chimes in and gave me advice on you know, what I was doing or just their experience with it too. And the good news for me is I still have some nectar left. I would say about a quarter of the bottle. And you guys know I was using it very liberally, like for skincare, the eyedroppers. I made yoni suppositories and all that, and I still have a good amount left. So, and I got benefits even by only holding the honey in my eyes for, you know, maybe at most, I think like I would say like 5 to 7 minutes, maybe close to 10 a couple times that the honey was in my eyes. I didn't do the full 15. I still got amazing benefit. First week using the honey, it really worked with me on a spiritual level, especially dealing with repressed emotions, and as well as goals and desires, you know, some lucid dreams that I had, and just very active, I'll call it lucid dreaming, where I was really putting things in motion towards my goals. And it was very much visual. Like I had this enhanced vision even in my dreams. And I started using the Nesut Nectar, of course, because of concerns that I had about my vision declining as I mature. And it definitely has helped with that. Again, I didn't do any like intense fasting and meditation and preparation, but you know, things like juicing, eating as clean as possible, those are kind of things that are already part of my lifestyle. And so I got a little more, I don't want to say strict with that, but mindful of it going into, you know, as I was waiting for the nectar to come in the mail. So I think that that really helped me to be more compatible, more in alignment when I did start using the honey, to get some of those benefits that I'm telling you guys. It was not gradual or subtle at all. All of the effects from the changes in my vision, the spiritual aspects, the dreaming, all of that happened immediately, like after the first dose. I put surrender with an exclamation point for week 1. What did I mean? I guess that maybe is just, you know, like with anything, just trust the process and go along with it, was what I was saying to myself at that time. For week 2, I began using it externally. I also did some more research, just looking for like use cases from other people online, right? People who have been using honey successfully to treat illnesses. I intentionally went into it with not a whole lot of expectations or understanding about the honey. Yes, I had watched a ton of KT's videos, right? But I still, it seemed like a lot of times he would be slightly vague about things, right? Like I told you guys in the video I did for the yoni suppositories, he said, I saw it, I think it was an interview, and he said, you know, it'll have the yoni flowering like never before. And so I took that at face value as like flowering can mean a lot of things. And then I had my own experience for myself, and that it might be a totally different experience for you or the next woman who uses those suppositories, right? I did find out later, as I was, you know, reading information and stuff, that honey can help with fertility. They said it was like an old wives' tale, but then they said that there's also some research to support it too. So yeah, very interesting. You know, be careful in that case if you make those suppositories, if you know what I mean. I already told you, won't be up on the floor. Definitely noticing like physical enhancement, vision improvement. So at that time, so the second week, I started putting the honey on my skin, and I was ingesting it too, and I noticed that I just felt good and I felt well off of the honey. Week 3, I said beautification. So, you know, I had been using the honey as like a face mask, and it was producing like softer skin. My lashes were getting longer. I also have been thinking about that too, just my lashes being longer and stronger. So I think, you know, I've talked about a lot of the honey having what I feel is like cleaning up my eyes, really. And the eyelashes, I even spoke about, you know, wearing fake lashes one time through this 30-day experience, and I was really angry at myself for doing that, because it was just counter to everything that I'm trying to do right now, whether it's improving my vision or just live a more holistic, healthy lifestyle. To me, at one point, like, lashes are really protection. They're protection for our eyes. Yes, we perceive it as beautiful, but it's very important to have those strong lashes. And so I think my lashes, what the improvements to my lashes is really signaling to me, it helped to create an environment where my lashes could thrive and give me more protection for my eyes, right? And that's a beautiful thing. Yes. Healing. Week 3, I believe, is when I had that incident with the scratch on my leg that just healed very rapidly, and it healed differently from what I would, you know, the normal healing process that I would be used to. You guys check out my past videos for more information on that. And then in the thumbnails of those videos, and in the descriptions, I pretty much list out, you know, in the chapter. So if there's a specific topic that you're looking for my perspective on, just, you know, go straight to my past videos and look for it there, because I want to keep this video short and sweet. Week 3 was also the yoni benefits. Week 4, I felt like it was more of just an integration of everything. Just, you know, I was thinking more about the honey and what benefits I had gotten from it. My vision really has improved, where I had previously had to hold things really far away for it to not be blurry, and I could now and can, you know, see very close to normally, you know what I mean? Yes, there is a point where things get blurry still, you know what I mean? But all of that, like the headaches, there was a level of like irritability I felt because of the eye strain. It helped to really alleviate that strain and stress feeling that I was having. And this also reminds me too, where I took the honey by eye drop for 1 week. And then at that point, I wasn't sure if I could continue or not, or if it was advisable to continue. And so I stopped taking the honey one night. So I sort of interrupted my healing process. The next morning, I was very much in pain. I felt like my head was swollen, my eye was swollen, my eye socket was tender. I had this throbbing, pounding headache like I've never had before. Right after I had used the nectar, you guys might notice me like sniffing a little bit and stuff like that. But he did say, you know, that is completely normal. Yeah, you gotta go. I got back on the honey, but I felt like after that, it felt like a release. I really felt like there was a release of, maybe, I don't want to be too dramatic, but some sort of type of maybe fluid or something. So a very interesting experience. I didn't let that bad day really deter me from using the Nesut Nectar, because I didn't think that it was anything bad happening. Like even though I was very uncomfortable, very, very uncomfortable, you know, I wasn't afraid, if that makes sense to you. But again, this is not medical advice. That was just me, you know, potentially being foolish, but just trusting the process. I noticed, because I was having certain experiences, and you know, honey attracts, right? Honey, people who are into sort of doing certain rituals or things like that, they will use honey as part of that. And I definitely began noticing certain experiences that I was having, things sort of working out in my favor, or people just going out of their way to accommodate me or be kind to me in all situations. Like there was one time, I know that it's like from the time I left the house, it was like people my cat is out of control. He got his little paws going, smacking a pistachio shell, and wouldn't be paying me no mind if I wasn't doing this. And look at me like a sucker. I got a video to do. Hold on, don't y'all click off. We're here, we right here with it. Stay with me. Stay. Yes, just things going my way. Okay, so I think it's very important, you know, to have intentions with this. That's definitely something that KT has spoken about extensively. Like with this honey, at times there was so much going on because I went into it with an intention for physical healing, right? And being open and receptive to other things that could come with it. And then it was just like bam, 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 bam. What, you know, what's going on? The very last video that I posted before this one, I talked about how I had a just sort of profound experience with emotion and being freer to express emotion and cry through. And I know it came through my experience with the honey. You know, I didn't have time. I didn't make time to cry. And suddenly I was going through this nightly ritual, this nightly process of crying every single night. And so there came a point where I felt emotional and I just cried, just let it go freely. Yeah, just going through this whole experience, it made me understand to be more conscious of my needs going forward, the needs of my eyes, the needs to be very conscious and mindful about what I put in and on my body, particularly my eyes. Because the eyes are so precious, and we know that, right? You know your eyes are precious, but I was sticking lash glue on there. I was doing all kinds of things, just kind of taken for granted that, hey, if I'm taking vitamins and supplements and juicing or doing this or whatever, then I can stare at a monitor for 9 hours a day and then get off work and then edit videos and watch content and all this stuff and just never give my eyes a break except when they're closed when I'm sleeping, and never do any sort of detox. You guys get where I'm going. So just really, it made me more mindful about that. So, I'm thinking about my lungs, my heart, all my organs and body systems, and how to really detox them and really care for them. So I'm very grateful for that awareness that came through using this honey, using the honey in my yoni. If I were to do that, or as a woman, if someone were to do that, just having an intentions about attraction and manifestation, I think it could be very powerful, potentially. But this is not medical and or spiritual advice. Also, it reminded me to just appreciate and take pleasure in the simple things, right? I think honey is one of the most simple foods, but is very profound, it's very complex, right? The process that bees go through making honey for us, and stingless bees are unique. They're different from like the bumblebees that produce the honey that we're used to. And so yeah, I think just taking the honey every day, trying to learn as much as I could about it, I just started to be more mindful and more appreciative maybe of nature. I don't want to just say nature, but hopefully you guys get my point, like the simple things and simplifying life. And yeah, and I just have to say, I am really glad that all of these things kind of happen in stages, or that I kind of use the honey in different ways and stages, because I believe that I would have been overwhelmed if I was like using it on my skin, putting it in my yoni, eating it, putting it in my eyes, like putting it in my ears. Like I think I would have like, y'all would have seen me here like, oh my god, y'all. And you might be like, girl, it's honey, what are you talking about? Now don't forget, honey, it has been handled and blessed and all of this kind of stuff. So this is not just regular and bare honey, okay? But yeah, this overall, my last word on this, it was an emotionally healing, very powerful experience, and I'm expecting even more and better things, because I am going to now that there's some more information out here, and I feel like I've still also like kind of built up a tolerance, and maybe that first 30 days I'll just look at it as like a test run. So I'm going to look into, because there's a half off sale happening right now too, so I might even try to get a jar of it, just continue working with the honey. And now that I have that tolerance kind of built up, I should be able to keep the honey in my eyes, for 10-15 minutes and do all of that, draw some sigils and do all of that good stuff. All right, y'all, I hope that this really helps someone. I love you guys. Oh wait, hold on, one last thing is gonna be very quick. So I definitely noticed when I was using the Nesut Nectar, can y'all see that? These little spots, dots, so like a little trail of them going right here, like on each side of my nose. So my first thought, because it felt a little like textured, not very rough, I was like, maybe is that from like when I very first started using the nectar as an eye drop? It did definitely produce, like I was getting a lot of gunk and crusty slimies out of my eye, but I was like, it wasn't really that much. And I would, I thought maybe it was something, when you have a cold and you blow your nose a lot and your nose can get, well, mine anyway, will get a little crusty. So I was like, maybe it's something like that. But then I did look online, and apparently the tear duct, there are certain tear ducts that run right here. Now I have been putting honey on this too, so it's like I don't think it's not as pronounced as it would be. I have no idea what the significance of that might be, but definitely just something I noticed. So I'm just putting that out there. All right, y'all, peace for real this time.